Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty big news coming out over here where we now have another huge big leak, brand new PlayStation conference potentially now on the way. It's kind of getting closer and closer and closer, as well as also we have some little bit more news in regards to brand new demos, brand new games that are coming out today on TVs. I'm sure you guys may know. We have other stuff, Forspoken stuff, and a little bit just random, a lot of random stories over here to go talk about throughout the day. So if you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, check out the How link down below for the $100 off a bunch of brand new Samsung products, all reserved down below, so check that out. We have the Target links, we have the Amazon links all down below, and of course, hang on the Twitter and Twitch, and let's dive into quite a bit of just a lot of different news all floating around. So let's go and do it. So very first and foremost, in case you guys have missed it, we are now seeing way more news coming out here for one of the biggest PlayStation 5 games that I think I'd be down with when it comes to remake sides. So this would have Metal Gear Solid Remake is announced, basically coming in the first half of 2023. It's now claimed. Now, once again, I want to remind you guys, this is not 1000% confirmed, although it's looking way more likely, and this has kind of been on the rumor trail, I would say, for, quite some time. And obviously, for this one, it's probably one of the biggest games, at least in my opinion. This is a classic game, good old Kojima. This would be a massive game to come out. So Metal Gear Solid PS5 Remake announced will be made before May 2023. Now, I want to make a big notion on this one. Announced will be made before 2023, May 2023. So we're kind of watching this date very closely to see when the next upcoming PlayStation big event is. We do know that Xbox has one that's confirmed for this month on January 25th. We're watching that very closely to see what's coming out, what games they're announcing, and all of that, and updates on all the other major games. But the one bigger thing to note is that this is also leading towards the third party, which we'll get to in a second. We're seeing a lot more third party big rumors, and while we do know a lot of the big first party games, Spider-Man coming out, Final Fantasy 16, it's not necessarily first party, but you know what I mean. And when it comes to that stuff, we know a lot of these games are coming. So right now, a lot of these third-party games are a little bit more on the drier side. So we keep on making these assumptions that the upcoming State of Play or next PlayStation event will be entirely for that. So according to the website that leaked this existence last month, Arena Gauges, who has a mixed reputation when it comes to leaks, claims that there's a strong chance we'll hear something between February and March, and fans think recent events suggest that something is happening on that front soon. So basically, a lot of folks are being teased on this Metal Gear Solid remake. Basically saying back in December, Blue Point Games published a holiday card for fans that contained a tease for its mystery product. Some folks are convinced that the wrapped box is a direct reference to Metal Gear Solid. As you guys usually know, there's a lot of box references and kind of memes and schemes all thrown in with it too as well. So another big thing too on top of this is we also have, we'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, is there's also a big PS Plus leaker who also has been sharing unannounced lineups with several websites including Arena Gauges, and others are saying that the recently rumored PlayStation State of Play, coupled with Fortnite hitting the Gray Fox character coming after March, and an MGS producer teasing an announcement, it's all lining up perfectly on the outside side. Plus also after Silent Hill just came back, they're kind of realizing why would you not want to keep on reworking on these IPs, if that makes sense. You have the hype and people are excited and everyone wants to go talk about these games. There's almost no reason not to. So looks like we have another big 30-party coming out over here. And also kind of going chat on this one, we're having even more now new leaks with a similar idea, saying that PlayStation 2 announces third-party content very soon. One of the more prominent leakers, The Snitch, goes and claims. So the Snitch as well, who apparently did go in retirement, came back, has jumped into his now public Discord server to let loose with a massive piece of information. According to a reliable source of his, PlayStation is on the verge of announcing a third-party content very soon, and that would also tie in very closely to the, a lot of different games, but mainly especially the Metal Gear Solid. So, very big to know. So there's a lot more coming soon, a lot more information being leaked, and this is also a really big kind of teaser, because there's a lot of several projects on the horizon, and we keep mentioning even the article, the Metal Gear Solid remake that is rumored to be announced soon, which would fit the bill perfectly. So needless to say, all these social circles and these leaks and everything else are coming out soon, and if there is supposed to be a big PlayStation event these next 2 to 3 months, this is where the early stage planning has been ongoing for a little while, so we kind of know it's coming very soon. So obviously, even with The Snitch has gone and said, a reliable source, so not technically him, but a reliable source, has DM'd me on Twitter to say that PlayStation is about to announce third-party stuff very soon. So we're seeing this stuff with Metal Gear Solid. We're seeing other people getting some information. So I'll be very curious to see what happens with all of this. So basically, it's kind of funny too because the Snitch themselves actually announced the retirement from leaking and breaking all this news. But it's funny because they're still kind of doing stuff in the end. Maybe just they didn't really like Twitter that much too as well. So as we mentioned too in this article, there's a lot of stuff in regards to Metal Gear Solid Remaster, which I still think would be one of the biggest games out there. And if you guys disagree, then you guys just don't necessarily know how much Metal Gear kind of shaped gaming as a whole. But also a lot of folks are kind of prepping the same thing I mentioned before, is that they're trying to prep up for this State of Play event, which last took place in September. So even if these leaks are all kind of BS and we don't really know what's going on with it, it's getting to the point where it is on the overdue side. And the last one did have Tekken 8, God of War Ragnarok trailers, PSVR 2 projects, so there is always that chance for them to compete with Xbox, which is coming on, January 25th, to maybe have another secondary big event and try their best to go and push out maybe more PlayStation VR third-party games, because we know a lot of lineup for the initial games and not so much afterwards, and as well, like we said, maybe kind of flesh out the rest of the year, because we know about a few kind of important third-party games, but not as many as we're all been expecting, so we can be on the lookout for all of that. So yourselves, we could all be on the lookout for it ourselves, which is very nice to see. Now, for some other kind of cool news besides these big leaks and events and all this stuff coming out in the near future, we also did go and see a few other things. So number one, apparently now people who have actually had a chance to play Forspoken now is actually saying, thank God, this game is not as bad as expected. Now, I'm someone who's on the lookout for this, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm a little bit intrigued in the game. I'm seeing some apprehensiveness same with Harry Potter 2 as well. I don't know. It's been all over the place. So you saw that Square Enix pulled the biggest bait and switch, and apparently now with the demo, which a lot of people were very skeptical on, they weren't really the biggest fan of, besides all the other stuff popping up with content creator drama and all of that, they're now kind of saying that he's 10 hours in, and then just new stuff in the game keeps coming up and up and up. Now, it's a very, very baseline review / rumor or whatever you want to go call it, but at least at the same time, we like it. We like the fact that the game is more in-depth because people were critiquing the in-depthness. The RPG elements will hopefully be not as bad, fingers crossed, and as well, I mean, the game kind of looked a little sloggy, the dialogue seemed weird, some animations were still splotchy, so hopefully the demo versus the final release copy will be a little bit more fine-tuned. I have this smidgen of hope for Forspoken, and I really hope that won't be a bad game, I really hope so we'll kind of see how he keeps them playing out throughout these next few weeks, and I believe the embargo is going to be done on the 23rd, I believe, so we'll have to see how that kind of plays on out from there. Now, for some kind of last bit of news over here is that we now have an update from Naughty Dog themselves, for two double whammies. Number one, they do have their show coming out today, so if you guys are going to go check out the HBO Last of Us, let me know in the comment section down below. But as well, we now have a 2-hour game trial for The Last of Us Part 1 over here, now available for PlayStation Plus subscribers. So in case you guys are a brand new PlayStation Plus, well, you don't have to be brand new, but if you are, then you guys can go check out the new 2-hour game trial. So it's definitely added to the PlayStation game trial section, a 2-hour full game trial of The Last of Us Part 1 is now available to deluxe PlayStation Plus members. Users will be able to play the game for a full 2 hours, giving them a taste of the PlayStation 5 remake just in time for the show's premiere today at 8 p.m. EST. Now, I'm going to be hyped up to watch this. I'll probably be streaming up on Twitch at that time, so maybe I'll watch it throughout the week or just whenever I have some spare time between videos. But everything so far has had really good reviews. I'm really excited for it, but it would also make a lot of sense. Maybe because with this one, if you guys have this PlayStation Plus, you guys actually at least go and check it out and see if you guys like the game. And it's always a little bit more intriguing too when Naughty Dog themselves come out with it, because this is kind of a really big and in all honesty, somewhat kind of smart marketing strategy where they want to go and push into hey, we might want to make a third game, so maybe get invested in the characters in the games 1 and 2, and as well maybe the show. And then you might have a lot of folks on HBO, normal folks, who maybe really want to watch The Last of Us and go and see if it's any good or not. And then if they go and like it, they like the characters, they like the story or whatever, that probably is going to drive sales. It's also been a very, very smart marketing scheme that I would almost want to make a proper script on and make an in-depth video on. If you guys would ever want, leave a comment down below. But I think this would be really cool because you have this funnel. Think Uncharted movies. You have the movie that does very, very well everywhere. Then obviously people hear about the game and they get excited for the upcoming games, but as well maybe check out the older versions or the remakes or whatever. Same with The Last of Us. They're going to go and hear about the show and figure out it was, or hear about it or whatever, that it was based on a video game. And guess what? Maybe people who are into the gaming scene might want to go and check out the game and pick it on up. It is a really smart marketing strategy at the end of the day, because it's kind of just like a endless feedback loop, where if the game gets more popular, then the show becomes more popular, and vice versa. So Sony's been doing pretty good on this whole video game marketing movie scheme. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed, and if you guys want to as well, put on the notifications as well. Check out the How link down below for all the nice little sales and reservations. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys want to follow and hang out there, and of course the Target Amazon links too. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.